Yes, welcome back. We'll do the next problem. Yes. One more from digital. First, we need to understand what is given. So a combination logic design for a 2-bit comparator. Okay. Output Y of a 2-bit comparator is logic 1 whenever 2-bit input A is greater than 2-bit input B, the number of combinations for which the output is logic 1. This is already a problem happened in gate for 1 mark. Okay, so same problem, it's a copy paste. Fine, so we'll do it. So what we have is a combination logic design. We call it as a comparator, a binary comparator, 2-bit binary comparator. So producing only one output Y. Okay, having 2-bit data for A, so we have 4-bit input actually. So A data and this is B data. So A data has, you can say A1, A0, B data has B1, B0, MSB and LSB. So the point is this, have a table quickly. So what we have is A data. So who has to be greater than the other one. So A should be greater than the B. So A should be, we have to check for A greater than B. Okay, 2-bit A data greater than 2-bit B data means then Y will be 1. How many combinations will make it? So then let me take A1, A0, then it is B1, B0, then output Y. Can think of. So have 0, 0. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So A cannot be greater than B. So therefore all these responses will make 0. Then think of 0, 1. 0, 1 will be greater than 0, 0, only 0, 0, that is one combination. Then if I take 1, 0 for this, 1, 0 will be greater than 0, 0 and 0, 1 means two combinations I will get. Then if I think of 1, 1, 1, 1 will be greater than, okay, 0, 0 and 0, 1 and 1, 0 as well. So that means that is going to give three combinations. So this three combinations, what are the combinations? 0, 1 will be greater than 0, 0 and 1, 0 will be greater than 0, 0, 1, 0 will be greater than 0, 1. Okay, that's all. Then 1, 1 will be greater than 0, 0. 1, 1 will be greater than 0, 1. 1, 1 will be greater than 1, 0. Only this will make output logic 1 means total 1 plus 2 plus 3. It is going to be 6 combinations. Such a straightforward problem. No formula, nothing. Yes, pure logical conclusion. Okay, so it's not talking about implementation and all. So simply how many combinations, okay, will make the output Y1 provided A must be greater than B. Okay, simple. Okay, so for greater logic, he's realizing the output Y. Okay, so maybe a problem for equal logic, maybe for lesser logic. Okay, so this is a greater logic. Greater logic, A greater than B. Equal logic, maybe A equal to B. A equal to B means only 4 possibilities. Okay, 0, 0 equal to 0, 0, 0, 1 equal to 0, 1, 1, 0 equal to 1, 0, 1, 1 equal to 1, 1, like that. Only 4 possibilities. Then think of lesser possibilities also. A less than B. Okay, so A less than B means A greater than B, how many? 6 combinations. Okay, A greater than B, 6 combinations equal 4 combinations. That means total combination 16. So equally good combinations for A less than B also. Suppose if the question is A less than B also, the answer is 6 only. Okay, so that's a simple, interesting problem based on a logical 2-bit comparator. Yes, next one. This is even interesting than the last one. What we have is 8-bit register serial in, serial out. Shift register is used for 24 microsecond time delay. Understand the problem. So what we have is a shift register, 8-bit shift register. So D7, D6, D5, D4, D3, D2, D1, D0. Okay, these are the bits of the register. So I have a register, say for example, register A. So this is A7, A6, A5, A4, A3, A2, A1, and A dot. Okay, content of the register. And this is getting the data serially in and producing the data serially out. Okay, it will be clocked properly. So assume it is positive edge clocked. Okay, shift register. Okay, what is operation? So when I give the clock, SI goes to A7. That is A7 copies SI, serial input data. Then A7, the previous state, the present state of A7 goes to A6. Then A6 goes to A5. Like that, it goes on. Finally, A1 goes to A0. This is what happens after the clock. Okay, so in every clock, this is what going to happen. Yes, what is the question now? There must be a delay of 24 microseconds delay we want. Okay, so that means the first input available at first clock. That means you are feeding the first serial input data to A7. Okay, then how many bit? 8-bit data. So then how many clocks needed to load your 8-bit data means you need 8 clock edges to load 8-bit data to the register. So 8 clock edges to load 8-bit data. So then the first bit is available by this time. So at the 8th clock, first bit is available. Okay, then if you want to pass the remaining bits, you need to pass 7 more clocks. Okay, so 8 clocks needed to load 8-bit data. So at the 8th clock, you have the first bit out. So if you want to out rest of the bits, so it is again 8th bit is available means you have remaining 7 bits only. So 8 plus 7, so it's going to be 15 ticks. Okay, so at the 15th clock, it will out the last bit. So 8th clock first bit means 15th clock, it will be the 8th bit. Okay, will be out. Okay, so yes, now entire bit is available in the output, serial output. Okay, after so many clocks. Okay, that means 15 clock. So 15th clock it is available. Okay, so first clock to 15th clock we have the gap. Okay, so this is the first clock and this is the 15th clock. So if you go like this, first to second clock, 1 T clock. So like that, 15th means, so how many T clocks? So we have 14 T clocks. That's a period. Let me check once. Actually, it is a 8-bit serial in, serial out. Any mistake committed, that will propagate. The net delay is given. Okay, so 24 microsecond time delay is given. So understand first how we need to connect. Okay, so first bit is available. First bit is given at what time? At 0 nanosecond. After what time it is available here? After the 8th clock edge. First clock edge, 8th clock edge means first the data goes to A7 and then goes to A6. First clock, S8 to A7, second clock here, third clock here, fourth clock here, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth clock, the data will be here. Okay, that means it needs minimum 8 clocks to get the data. There is a delay. Okay, yes, the first bit is available after the delay. So we should not go for this calculation. We should go for only this 8 clocks. Approximately after the 8th clock, the first bit is available. So it is delayed by so many clocks. So the total propagation delay of your first bit is approximately first clock to the 8th clock. First clock to 8th clock. Okay, so 8th clock, the 8th bit will be loaded. Yes, data will be available. First to 8th means you will get only 7 T clocks. Okay, so 7 T clock is a propagation time period. What's a frequency? So delay must be 24 microsecond. So 24 microsecond means then it is 7 T clocks. If it is 8, it will be a round number. Okay, T clock. So we'll go for the T clock. Okay, so 24 by 8, he may be perceived. Let me check both. Either 24 by 7. What should be the clock frequency? Okay, so T propagation delay is this. That is going to happen within 7 T clock. So 7 T clock should be equal to 24 microsecond means T clock must be 24 by 7 microsecond. Then I will go for the frequency. F is equal to F clock is equal to 7 by 24 megahertz. 7 by 24 megahertz. So if it is 8, it is 1 by 3 megahertz. We can say 1 by 3 means it is going to be, yes, that can be the easy option. Okay, so 7 by 24 means 8 by 24 will make this means 7 by 24 little less. Little less is not very closer. So 7 by 24, okay, megahertz means, let me go for the actual number. If the number will decrease, yes, there are decreased frequencies, but not very closer to 333.3. So it seems to be option A is fine. Okay, so he played for 8 clocks. Okay, because usually when you consider the clock, we may begin with the positive edge only, so but not sure what is the actual delay. Okay, so suppose if he is beginning with this, then the clock will come like this, then the time is also counted. Okay, or if you begin like this, okay, so begin like this here means then this is your first edge, so the first T clock will be counted. So roughly 8 T clocks may be counted. So then 8 by 24 instead of 7 by 24 will be 1 by 3 megahertz. So option A will be the correct answer. Okay, so that the net delay will become approximately 24 microseconds. Okay, so time period will be, we can calculate based on this frequency. So time period will be 3 microseconds. Okay, if this is the frequency, the time period of the clock will be approximately 3 microsecond. So then 8 into 3, a reasonably a good number only. Okay, so you can play for this, the nearest frequency 125. If you go for 1 by 125, it will be 1 by 125 kilohertz means it's going to be 10 power minus 3. So then 1000 by this will be 8 microseconds. Okay, this will create 8 microsecond. 8 into 8 will be 64. Definitely D is not the one in the race. A is surely the answer. Okay, so 7th itself, okay, 7 T clock will be the minimum, maximum will be the 8 T clock. So we'll go for the maximum. Okay, so accordingly you decide your answer. So the best possible answer for this problem is option A. Okay, so it took T clock as 24 by 7. Okay, so 7 T clock we took, instead of that it took 8 T clock. With that he got the answer. So 24 by 8, so T clock must be equal to 3 microseconds. Then he went for that, F clock is equal to 1 by 3. Okay, megahertz. 1 by 3 is 0.333 megahertz. So it is going to become 333.3 kilohertz. Good. That's a correct answer. No other answer closer to this. Okay, so that's approximate answer for the clock frequency. So that the net delay in, serial out shift register. Okay, consider the first bit, and when you will get the first bit in the output in the serial out. Okay, so that is going to give you the delay. 8th bit going to happen at certain clock edge. That is the 8th clock edge. 8th bit will come into the MSB bit, but when it comes out, it will take another 7 more clocks. So 8 plus 15. That is as 15 minus 8 also going to give you the 7. You can play for any bit. So play for LSB bit. That's very instant. That's another interesting problem from digital. Then in a full complementary CMOS, already I have given you the full CMOS inverter structure. What is the NMOS? NMOS is doing what? Okay, so let me once again give the structure. So what we have is a PMOS, bubbled, without bubble, it's NMOS. That's a CMOS. In a full complementary CMOS gate. You said CMOS gate, not inverter. Okay, so anyway, CMOS inverter gate, let me assume that's your VDD, drain side supply. Actually, it is given to the source of the PMOS only. Okay. Yes, this is output. Let me take, it's also a logic gate, and this is my X. Okay, pull down. By default, already I said pull down is because of NMOS, and pull up is because of your PMOS. It's a very good parser of strong 1. It's a very good parser of strong 0. So therefore, the answer is straightforward. It takes not even 10 seconds in the examination to conclude and move to the next problem. Okay, so the answer is, it is acting as a pull down network. Okay, in a complementary CMOS. Next, something related to control, something related to signals. Okay, damped ramp signal. Okay, damped means If you have a control system perception, you should feel like this. Okay, the damped ramp means we can say like I have a ramp. Damped means we have a finite friction. Finite friction means exponential decay. Probably you'll feel this is t into u of t, and you can have an exponential decay signal. So it's a product of ramp and an exponential decay, can be called as damped. Okay, exponential decay falling from 1 to 0. And this is going from 0, that's your ramp. Okay, for t greater than 0. Yes, if you get this product, then the resultant will be something like this product of these two. Okay, so just imagine how it will look like. It's a ramp, and then multiply this with this exponential decay. It may look like so it is 0 initially, this is 1, so nothing will be the resultant. Then it is decaying, but it is rising. So you may feel like a charging and discharging. Okay. Okay, but anyway, he's not looking for the waveform. So this is t, and this is e power minus t by tau, or at, we can say e power minus at. So simply this is also into u of t. So multiplication of the two will be the resultant. Okay, that's a perception, but you should not multiply the two time domain signals like this. You may have another perception. So like a control system having two identical poles here. Okay, so you feel like impulse response of a second order critically damped system. So where you have pole set, for example, -2, then the system may have a transfer function like 1 by s plus 2 the whole square. If we apply the impulse input, then you will see the damped ramp. Okay, what is that? The result is going to be t into e power minus 2t into u of t. That will be known as ramp with critical damping. Ramp with critical damping. Yes, I'm perceiving this way. So the possible answer for this problem is option B, t into e power minus at. So for t greater than or equal to 0 seconds, we can say. That's another simple problem, okay, from either SS or controls. Next one, from two-port network, the following parameters are called short circuit parameters. Already mentioned, this is an open circuit parameter. This is a short circuit parameter. Why parameters we can call short circuit parameters? A small explanation with that. We'll conclude this session. So I have Y parameter box. That's Y matrix. Input port V1, I1. Output port V2, I2. Yes, what's the equation governing input port? It's a KCL. For the output port, also the KCL. So therefore, the two-port network expression becomes I1, I2. That's input matrix. That is your left side matrix, I matrix. Shortly can remember it is I is equal to the Y matrix into your voltage. Okay, Y into V, it is ohm inverse into volt, will become amps. Okay, that's balanced. Then it's I1, it's I2. So that's a balance. Then we have Y11, Y12, Y21, Y22. Any two-port network, you can begin with the basic. Okay. Then it's easy to build from this. So then we have V1 and V2. Then from this, we get the expressions I1 equal to Y11. Okay, instead of writing this straight away, so remember this, expand, then it's easy. Y11 into V1 plus Y12 into V2, and I2 will be Y21 into V1 plus Y22 into V2. Yes, why we call it as short circuit parameters? If I make V1 0, that means input port short circuited, means I can find Y12 and Y22. If I short circuit input port, if I short circuit output port, V2 is made 0 means output port short circuited, means I'll find Y11 and Y12. The first column with V2 0, second column I can identify it with V1 0. So V1 0, V2 0, we call them as short circuit conditions. So this is output port short circuit and this is input port short circuit. So all the Y parameters we call them as short circuit parameters. Easy. That's an instant answer. Okay, that's option C. Correct answer for this problem. Okay, like this, many simple problems also happened. Okay, it's not all the problems to the gate level or IES level. Still, there are opportunities for everyone to score. Okay, so any competitive examination, expect around 50% everybody can attempt. Okay, if the question is, for example, for 190 marks, okay, around 80 to 90 marks, okay, with a simple preparation anybody can attempt. Okay, so then how you have a relative advantage, it's all about how you answer the relatively moderate and tough problems. That's where one can, as a aspirant, you can have a relative advantage. Okay, yes, let me conclude this video with this. We'll update you with one more video soon. Okay, thanks for watching. Do subscribe. Okay.